not having friends as a 20-year-old who doesn't have friends, who hasn't made her first friend as an adult, and has not made any new connections since 18 years old hurts me so much in the summer. Like, when I see these people today, I saw the Jamaicans with their flags, seeing that togetherness, and not only these people going to the parade alone or to walk the streets alone, but they're going with people, with friends. Like, seeing those type of things hurt so much. Today it didn't hurt too much, but seeing things like that really it's tough for me. It really is. And I also feel awkward when I'm by myself. I don't know if it's the same as being lonely, but I feel I'm so stiff. I feel like everyone's looking at me, judging me. That's something that is probably steered from not having friends. And what else do I have here? How that hurts me socially and what I think it's gonna be like making friends for the first time in my 20s. Alright, I don't consider 20 years old 20s, and a lot of people don't say that either. But this lack of experience with people and lack of knowing things is gonna hurt me. It is. What I fear is the embarrassment at 21, because there are certain things that people are not afraid to say around other people. I do want to give them grace when they're around my age, because I do understand that the older you are, the less patience people have with you. And there are people, and you know as a sheltered person, even with the internet, there are gonna be life things, people things. I'm so tired of this turning off, but there are gonna be things that you don't know, no matter what, because you're sheltered. And I have no idea how making friends in my 20s is gonna be. I don't have a roster. I don't know, because obviously it's gonna take money. I was actually thinking before that I want things to be a more partnership type of thing, where we have a goal to do things. Because even with me doing content creation, I could work with somebody, so then I can make a connection through working with somebody creatively. I was thinking about doing certain little events that go on in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, wherever, and asking somebody to come with me, or joining any groups, like WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. Maybe try to do things like this. Is so weird. This is another thing too. This is the reality of not being able to make connections or friends because you're in the same class, or because you're in the same school, or because your classmate introduced you to this person. Like, things are really not that way. I wonder what name there is for something, for the type of friendships that you make when they're in settings that you're proximated to each other, like proximal friendships, things like that. So I really have to go out of my way to do that, and I hate that, because going from the transition of having been able to have connections with just being around each other, and then being intentional afterwards as a teenager, as a minor teenager, to now being over 20 years old. I missed out on 18, I missed out on 19, I missed out on 20, now being 21 years old later on, when I turned 21, or months after I turned 21. Now I'm going from that a long time ago to nothing, to now being intentional about friendships. So that feels, I frankly, I hate it. To me it feels unnatural, and I don't like it. But what am I gonna do? I want connections. I do. So I was thinking about something like that. I wonder how roommates are. Like, are roommates always friends? Or do they always become friends? Oh my god, I'm about to sneeze. I also had things fade away quite a bit with Nick that I mentioned in the last YouTube video, and in my early episodes as well. I've drawn him before, and I just know that eventually you cannot maintain things online for so long when you don't show up for somebody. And I hate that things were left with me being someone who seemed so undergiving, when in my mind and in my heart I'm so incredibly giving. But the thing is that when you're restricted, you're not able to do as much for people as you want. There are so many feelings and things that I have kept in my mind because I wasn't able to showcase them to that person, to those people, because of all these restrictions. Like the amount of gifts I would have given to people, the amount of experiences I would have given to people, the tickets I would have gotten people, the cards I would have gotten to people, the money I'm gonna would have given to people. I do want to do like a little money to the people that I graduated high school with. At least I could do that. But of course, money is like an easy thing to give. We all have, I don't know, Cash App or whatever, cash in general, or sending in a letter. I think you can send money in a letter to their address. But I also, that's another thing too, I don't want to feel so excited that I spend money on people and now they feel like the basis of me is I'm gonna do stuff for you, I'm gonna buy stuff for you, because I want to be different as well. I want to be different than other people, because I don't want to just be this basic person, although I most likely am. I'm starting friendships. I'm gonna be a beginner, so I am gonna be plain in a lot of ways. But I want to stand out to people, because I also want to stand out in my life. I'm tired of just blandness. So for me to be with people, I don't want to, I want to, so for me to be with people, and especially with people who are at least 19, I want to be different. I want them to have their first experience go-karting, or what else is it expected that they haven't done? Let's see, maybe their first experience more grown, going to a farm or to a certain museum. I'm gonna want to give that to them and me experience that them for myself, because I'm gonna want more, because I waited so much longer to have friends. I'm gonna want more special type of experiences, but I have to be careful to not just be spending and spending, not because of the money, but because these things have to be real. But I would still do it. But even with all these things, I can't imagine anything outside of Nick. He was super special, super beautiful. Of course, I'm sure he must still be. But because he was pretty much all I ever knew, and I hate that, and that's the only real connection I kept after high school. I don't know anything. I never knew anything outside of him. And I can imagine building memories, building things, experiencing things with someone else. When it comes to imaginations, you imagine the person's face, the person's body, the person walking with you, the person sitting with you, experiencing things with you. And he's the only person I've ever really done that with. Maybe with other people briefly, but with him I've spent hours and hours and hours that could make up a month of just imaginations and fantasies that I've had with specifically him, because I've been a girl who's been wanting to do things since she was 10 years old. So it's been more than 10 years already. When it came to me wanting to do things with him, specifically him being added to my bucket list, I was 15. So with him specifically, more than 5 years of those 10 years, there were things that were included, things that I wanted to do with him. And the fact that none of them happened is a heartbreak for a sheltered girl, especially that being a person that you lost contact with. That was one of my biggest fears. I don't know if I mentioned that in my summer delusion episode, but I really wanted to, I really never wanted this to happen. To be wanting so many things, and then by the time I'm able to, that possibility is down to a zero or close to a zero. I never ever wanted this to happen. And so because he was pretty much all I ever knew, building with somebody else is sad. It's hard for me to be doing the things that I wanted to do with him, and let's say I'm with a group of people and we end up walking that street when that was a street that I wanted to walk with him or see with him. And that's something really sad. even when it came to me going to the Department of Education building in downtown for working in the DOE, I wanted to get dumplings afterwards, and instead of going down a specific street, I just couldn't, because we walked that street before. We walked something super, super similar. It was definitely in that area. And I wanted the next time that I walked there to be with him. And that's why I just couldn't. I walked I took another route. That's also something that makes it a little bit difficult for me to go to downtown Brooklyn, where I used to go to school with, because the memories, but in a slightly bad way. But if I have to go, I'll go. Like, I've gone for job fairs and an interview. So if I need to go, I'll go. And downtown Brooklyn it has a lot of important things there. And so I also fear that if he were to come back, I'm not the same person anymore. I haven't grown. In all the time he's known me, I haven't grown. I don't have these new things. Like, even if stuff gets, even if he comes back, me having a job, me having my own place, me having a car, that's all materialistic things, and to me, that's not impressive. That's not anything impressive, especially when I know why I got all those things when I did. And I really wish he got to see more of me. Of course, there were so many things I wanted to give to this man. So many things I wanted to show him. So many experiences I wanted to have with him. And it really did. It really kills me to know that he was not... That sounds horrible. That sounds like a jealousy thing. But I just hate the idea of him... Not hate, I really don't want to sound bad and jealous, because he deserves so much, of course, but I don't like that I stayed in socially and experience-wise at 17, and he grew to 18 while I was still at 17, 19 while I was still at 17, 20 while I was still at 17, 21 when I was still at 17. I still have little wishes of, like, doing certain things that he hasn't done, just to feel more special to him, to feel like I stand out as well. The same thing that I saw with the other people. But, well, we don't know. Like, I really do imagine being with Nick when I pass by certain spots. Same thing that what was going on in 2023, imaginations and fantasies. I have different types of imaginations and fantasies. And by the way, I've been living in my imagination for so long, and so many more of my life has been imagined than what you would really think. But when I'm at home, that's one type. When I'm not in the place, that's one type of imagination. So I'll be at home imagining that we're at a coffee shop. When we're passing by, when I'm in my dad's car and he's driving by certain places and I imagine I'm there with him, that's another type of imagination. When I am watching vlogs on YouTube and I imagine that I'm there, that's another type of imagination. I feel like there's one more. Yeah, that's really it. It could be vlogs, it could be a TV show, it could be a documentary, it can be the news. And then there's, of course, fantasies, which are they're slightly less realistic in the sense that they're further away. I have a car, stuff like that, which more into the future. But I really do, he really is all I've ever known. And so when you're one of the few people that a sheltered person has connected with and has had in their lives, because sheltered people do not make a ton of connections, you're in their heart, you're in their mind, you really are. I try to make characters in my brain, because I obviously don't know people in person, and even though I see people in person, they're not staying in my brain. I have to really build a connection to somebody for them to stay in my brain. So I try to pretend that I'm with Jack or Jill or Samantha at a coffee shop instead of Nick, and they all just end up being variants of Nick because he's all I've ever known. Like, I've never linked with anybody else. The most intense things have been with him, and I hate that. Like, how as a parent can you not, or make happen, how do you say that, when you make something happen, help, support, how can you not support connections? Something that a lot of people my age have already gotten tired of is tired of the city. Like, you're already tired of New York City, and you're this young. You've already explored that much of the city for you to be tired. So there are so many things that I'm gonna finally want to do for the first time. There's always new things, of course, but I feel like even for those people, new things are recycled, like different museums, different pop-ups, different concert open how do you call those, outdoor concerts, indoor concerts, workshops. So hopefully I don't run into people too often that are super tired of the city, cuz please don't be tired. I also really think about how disgusting it is, and disgusting is gonna be a word that I'm gonna be using a lot to describe the things that my parents do because I'm way past 18 and they haven't stopped certain things. But how, on top of being controlling with the way that I act around people, to not say this and to act like this, the fact that they showed so much fakeness and forcedness when it comes to familial relationships, I hate that. I used to think I was so weird because some people are like that. They naturally they feel like family super duper important and cool, especially when they're good people. But when they're not good people, or you're not the type of person that forces relationships, small talk, banter, it's like, bruh, why are you forcing me, because at the end of the day, so many of the people that when we go to Honduras they introduce me to are strangers, or even people that are not relatives. So I mean, at some point they call certain people their aunts, uncles, and you don't even know if they're actually. But I don't want that. I really don't.